Okay, we've got a Peugeot partner in here for a glow plug change. It's a 1900 straight engine, which is in the 2000 model. You'll also find this engine in the likes of a 206 straight diesel, the 306 straight diesel, but the 2000 or later ones, not the earlier ones which have got the early XUD engine. There are other cars with it, but it's basically the non-HDI version, so the non-turbo straight engine, but it is the newer version which still does have an ECU. A bit of a bugger actually, because the glow plugs are in behind the injectors. It's got one per cylinder, just like any other engine, only instead of on the XUD they go in the front, well, they're in behind the injectors on this one, so on the straight you've got the bloody intake manifold and all right in the way, so basically you have to get that off. Now, there's several ways you can go about this, but in my opinion the easiest way of doing it is pull off your air intake hose, that goes down to your air box, just undo that doobie and it'll pull off. You can disconnect your exhaust. This is your EGR pipe which comes up from the exhaust manifold. It's basically to recirculate exhaust emissions. It's actually a load of crap, but anyway, to release it you've got a clip. Now you don't want to bugger this clip because you'll have to get another one, because you can re-clip it, so you just want to get a screwdriver in behind and pry the clip until it releases. Move the clip out of the way and just bend the pipe out of the way. Then you need to undo the actual manifold. There's two Allen bolts in the back, there and there. They're just little Allen bolts like that. And then the other two that are a bit more tricky is down there and down there. There's two they're bigger Allen bolts, but yeah, you need a fairly long Allen key to get in there. So you undo all of that, and you should find the whole thing goes loose. It'll probably be a bit tight because they sit in the manifold at the back, so you want to wobble it around a bit. But eventually you should find it'll pull up like that. And as you're pulling it up, there's one little pipe you'll need to move underneath the end of a little pipe there. You want to just release that off the manifold. Then you can lift this whole lot out of the way, and then you can see the glow plugs. As you can see, the manifold's off now, out of the way. Gives you clean access to all four glow plugs. 1, 2, 3 and 4. The other thing I just had to disconnect, if you want to get that completely out of the way, is this on the end of the manifold where your glow plug wire connects. Just it's where it connects to the feed from the relay. If you disconnect that, then you can totally move that out of the way. Like I say, just be really careful when you lift it up, because there's little pipes and things you need to pull off, and an electrical connection. If you pull it and don't take them off, you'll probably break something, so just be slightly careful there. The reason we're changing the glow plugs in this particular van is because it's become hard to start on cold mornings. With the indirect diesel engines like this one, glow plugs are absolutely essential, because unlike a petrol engine which has got spark plugs, diesel rely on nothing more than the heat of the compression to actually cause it to fire. So on cold mornings you struggle to start them without the glow plugs. So having those four in there, they glow up red hot, warm up the air in the cylinders, and then you turn it over and then it'll start. Common signs of your glow plugs getting, because they deteriorate slowly over time, basically, but common signs that you could do with the replacement is in the morning your car will take several more cranks to start, or when it does start you'll find it's really lumpy and you're possibly chucking out a bit of smoke. If it's like missing a bit there and there, it's usually because your glow plugs are knackered. So for the sake of replacing all four, it's always worth trying, because it often sorts a lot of problems out. Now that manifold's off, I'll just show you as well the two big bolts I was talking about. That's underneath. That's there. They bolt into the head there and there. So that's that. And you can just see it's one big inlet manifold thing. To actually get the glow plugs out, it's quite simple. You've got a wire that goes between all four. If you take all the top nuts off, then you can keep them in a box somewhere, a little pot or something, to keep them safe because they're quite small. Take the wire off, and then you can just unscrew each glow plug individually with their socket and extension. It's quite easy. Okay, I've taken the four nuts off the top now, so if you can see the wire there. You can just lift that, it'll just come clean off. No point taking it out, you might as well just leave it there, save threading it back through again afterwards. Another thing I'll also point out is, if you think, if you all of a sudden your car feels like you didn't heat in at all, it won't fire at all. One thing to check is if you put a multimeter on one of the glow plugs and ground it to the car and you find there's no power to it, and another common thing to go on these ones is your glow plug relay, which is the black box. This is on a part of the van, it's over there, this black box here, and then you've got your feed wire that goes to your glow plugs in the battery. On a 306 it's down behind the battery, and I'm not actually sure on a 206, but it's all the relays look exactly the same like that, so you just have to look around till you find it. Usually on one of the inside wings or behind the battery. If you think if there's no power getting to the glow plugs at all, it's often the relay. So if you check, there's two big wires going into the relay. You've got your feed, your mains feed, then you've got off to the relay. Then you've got a small connection, which is what activates the relay. So you should have power on one of the red wires for the main input all the time, and you should have power on the other one when it's glowing. If you've got power on neither of them, then you've got something else that's wrong with it. But if there's power on the main one and it never glows, then it's your relay that's gone. Okay, I'm just removing one of the glow plugs. This is where a nice little socket set actually comes in really handy, because it's tricky to get half-inch drive down there. Just undo that one the whole way. I'm trying not to let any dirt go in the hole when I'm taking it out, because obviously that's going into your swirl chamber, which isn't really where you want too much crap. What I'll do is do one at a time and replace them as you do them, so you don't like leave all four holes open. You've got fairly long threads on them. Put that to one side. It's gone finger tight now. Got oil all over my hand, lovely. You've got a lot of threads on them actually, it's quite surprising. When you pull the glow plug out, there you have it. That's all there is to it. And in with the new glow plugs. Just a quick thing to say about glow plugs. When you're buying them, don't buy cheap ones. It's never worth it, literally. You'll put new ones in, cheap ones in, it'll work brilliantly for the first couple of weeks, and then it'll just let you down again just like the other ones, because they don't last. So I would always try and, they don't cost a fortune. You're only talking about sort of, well, for a set of 4 you're not talking about very much at all, but you can sort of pay half the price for the cheaper ones, and they will last you not even a third of the time. They'll just die. So I would buy on your XCDs, the great ones to get, your Bosch Duratex. They seem to last. Well, I've had a set in mine, and they're brilliant plugs. These are good plugs. Yeah, avoid the cheap ones. Right, the new glow plugs are in. Just need to put the connecting wire back on, and then put everything back together again. And when you do the top nuts back on that hold the cable on, it's very important you don't over tighten them. Mainly because when you put a certain amount of strain on them, instead of the bolt actually doing up, it'll literally snap all of your insulation inside the glow plug and completely ruin the glow plug. So you just want to do it up so it goes tight and just a little bit more. Just so you ain't gonna, as long as he's tight and you're gonna wobble loose, that's tight enough. He isn't holding any strain, it's just holding the cable on. Right, I've removed the well, whatever you want to call this bit, the EGR input and sort of other bits, which basically is on the front of the manifold. Now I'm going to show you why I hate EGR. I'm actually going to take a photo of that because the video isn't picking it up very well. But basically what EGR does is it recirculates exhaust emissions through the intake system. It's supposed to be for emissions, but by doing so, because it's red hot, it also burns on all the oil and all the crap inside all your intake system. Look at the size of that build up. Now all the intake manifold will be covered in that, right down through. Now this doesn't do your engine any good at all. It's such an absolutely horrendous idea. So that's why in my opinion it's best left disabled. But I'm actually going to clean this now because this isn't doing the van any good at all. Okay, we're almost all back together. Last thing, just to clip this clip back on. Easiest way is to put the pipe on, push the clip on. You have to squeeze it a bit to get it over, then put it on. Big pair of pliers, there and there, squeeze, and it should click back on. Also, don't forget to connect the two glow plug wires together at the end of the manifold. It's right under that oil pipe. There's a little bolt. You put the two wires and put the nut on the end. Otherwise, you'll be wondering why it's not working. Better test it, I suppose. Give it a full heat and it should start because you haven't touched the diesel lines. Perfect. That's what I like to see. After cranking it should start.